Hey guys, it's Nikki Fishing Girl. So I'm really excited because what I have in my hand is a new KastKing Speed Demon Pro Jig Worm Rod. Now, I'm a big wacky rig, Senko, plastic worm, jig type of angler. And when I first saw this rod coming on the market, I knew I had to grab one for myself. Now, the rod itself is KastKing's own Elite Carbon Blank. It's a Toray 36-ton carbon blank that's infused with carbon nano tube resins. Now, this is a high modulus rod. It's a 36 million modulus rod. It has a 750,000 strain weight. So what that means is that this rod is super thin, incredibly lightweight, very sensitive, and extremely powerful. Now, the rod itself is made of all Fuji components. The reel seat is a Fuji TVS reel seat. It's open on both sides, so you can still get that really good sensitive feel. And it's very comfortable. When I'm jigging with this all day long, it doesn't tire my hands out. Now, the guides are Fuji LN guides with alkanite rings. And what's really cool is this non-slip, extremely comfortable Winn Grips. And it's got the KastKing logo on them. I think it's a really cool touch. Now, the placement of the hook holder, I like very much in this place. Because when I use a rod sock to cover my rods for transportation, usually the hook holder is up here, but it gets stuck in my rod sock. So by being placed down there, it doesn't get stuck in my rod sock. So let me show you why I was super excited to get this rod. So the rod I'm using is the Speed Demon Pro Jig Worm Rod. This is a 7-foot 3-inch rod. Now check out the bend of that rod. This is a fast action. This means the bend is at the top third or less of the rod. This allows the rod to have more sensitivity and a good fast hook set on a bass, which is exactly what I'm looking for in a jig worm rod. This is a medium powered rod that has some great backbone to it. It's rated for 10 to 20 pound test and holds 1/4 to 3/4 ounce lures. Again, check out the fast action on this rod. The sensitivity this rod has is unbelievable. I felt this bass hit with the tiniest of taps. The fast action also allows for a better fish fighting capability and maintaining the tension needed on the line to fight a good sized bass. Now here I am using a wacky worm style rig. I love to toss a worm hooked like this into a pocket of heavy vegetation. The strong backbone on this rod is amazing. It allowed me to set the hook really hard and get that bass's head up and out of cover before she could run and get me all tangled. So that's another thing I look for in a really good jigging rod. A nice strong backbone that can handle a big sized bass. Now, what makes this rod so strong yet lightweight is that carbon nanotube resin technology that KastKing utilizes. Normally, when you think of a rod that uses this type of technology, you're talking about a rod that should be in a much more higher price zone. Carbon nanotubes are the strongest and stiffest materials yet discovered in terms of strength and elasticity. Normally, a rod will use a resin to strengthen the rod, and by adding on more resin, it adds on more weight. But that's not the case with the carbon nanotube resins. So I'm really glad this rod is so light because I'm jigging all day long with my wacky rig worm. And with this rod only weighing 4¼ ounces, it doesn't tire out my arm or hurt my wrist while jigging at all. This is something that I find is extremely important in a jigging rod. So KastKing really didn't spare any expenses when building this rod. So to sum up why I love this rod so much, it has a fast tip for great sensitivity, a powerful backbone that allows me to drive a hook hard into any big fish and allows me to drag that fish out of any heavy cover. It's made with carbon nanotube resin technology that makes this rod extremely lightweight and allows me to easily jig all day long. It has these Fuji LN guides and alkanite rings that are also great when using braid. A Fuji TVS reel seat that is open on both sides to allow for greater sensitivity. Extremely comfortable Winn Grips that allows me comfort when casting all day long and also keeps a great grip even when it gets wet. And just the overall look of this rod is really amazing. So if you're big into jigging and using plastic worms, I would definitely suggest that you check out the Speed Demon Pro Jig Worm Rod.
That's crazy. I literally had him, my grip around him, and he slipped out.